I'm in the middle of a job right now of taking the headlight units out of a E70 X5. So there are a couple of videos out there. They don't really go through too much of the process. There's enough to glean off of, but I just wanted to go through kind of quickly what I've found out. So the first step is actually to take all of the little fasteners out of these holes. So these fasteners, they have like a little peg in the middle of them. So let's see, where are the fasteners? So they have a little peg in the middle of them. So what you have to do is you take a center punch and a little mallet, and you put the center punch in here and strike it with a mallet a couple times until it releases this little peg, and then it'll make it easier to pull out with your fastener removal tool. It really looks like I'm going to need to buy new fasteners to put this thing back together. These look like they're one-time use, and none of them look kind of scuffed up or anything. So I really think they're one-time use. That's just kind of a crappy BMW design. So make sure if you're going to do this job, find these fasteners and buy, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 10 of them on each side, okay? So you pop all those out, pry them all out. That loosens up this front fender piece. After that, I didn't pull the fender off. I actually took off all the screws and additional fasteners required to get the wheel well cover off, the front wheel well cover. So there are quite a lot of screws, and it's kind of infuriating because a lot of them are hex head. There's a couple of different size hex heads. Most of them were 8mm. 2 of them were 10mm. This one was just a nut. There were a couple. This one was a 10mm. And then there was also one that was like a captive screw that was a Phillips head. And then there was one that was what's it called? Torx. So it's like a huge hodgepodge of screw types to get that guy off. But just look around, go. Once you get them all off, there were a couple that were all in this area right here. There's a couple that are under this front bumper flap. There's only 2 of them, I think, under this bumper flap that you have to loosen up to get to it. Once you get that all done, you can pry this little front wheel well cover off. I started at the front. The first one is the hardest to get off. If you look, here is how these clips are designed right here. So this is how the clip looks like. So as you're trying to pull it off, this clip is kind of latched in there. And if you can get something really thin in there to push it down while you're pulling, it makes it a bit easier. So if you can push that latch down while you pull it out, then that's a lot easier. And then I just pulled along and went along from front to back, and you can give it a tug, it'll come out. So after that, I found out that there's several screws holding this in. So the screws that hold the light in are very long, like this, and they're placed in a couple of places. So these screws, let me point them out. So there's one screw that was right here. There's one screw that was underneath right here, in this direction right here. There's another screw up here. There's one screw way back here. You have to kind of feel around for it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's back here. You just have to feel around for it. And I think there was another screw that was all the way in the front right here. And yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. So I don't know if I got them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 all the way in the front. So after that's done, this thing's loosened up. Oh, before I did that, I unplugged this connector. To unplug this connector, you just squeeze on the sides. There's a little latch, squeeze it on the back end right here, flexes, it lets it open. And there's a latch on the left side and the right side. Give both of them a good squeeze and just jiggle it a little until it comes off. So now you can see that the headlight unit is loose. So the headlight unit is loose, but it still can't come out because this piece of plastic is in the way. This piece of plastic is held in place by a couple of screws. There's one screw right here. There's one bolt right here. You're going to need a deep 10 socket for this, or an open face wrench to get it off until you can get a normal sized socket on it. And then on the top, there were 2 screws. So there was one screw right here and one screw right here that I had to loosen up. That piece of plastic is a sub-assembly, so this and this lets it drop straight down, but you have to kind of pull it out on this bottom screw. This bottom screw, you have to pull this, unscrew this all the way and pull it off this peg right here in order to let this whole unit drop down and give you enough space to remove the headlight unit. I think the driver's side has actually been easier. I already did the passenger side. The passenger side was a bit tighter because there was the washer fluid tank is right in this area. And something that's interesting is this whole side front quarter panel is made out of plastic. Most cars, it's metal, but on this one, it's plastic. I'm just surprised in how BMW uses a lot of pieces of plastic in places that other manufacturers use metal. Yeah, that's just very surprising. Okay, but hopefully this helps you on your journey to remove your headlights for whatever you're doing. I am going to remove the headlights because I am going to be changing out the lens covers. As you see, the lens covers have hazed up quite a bit. Yeah, okay. Good luck.